Hey guys, I'm Saion Gupta and I'm 11 years old. I'm the founder of 10x.k.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button and share this video with as many people as you can. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, kindly do it so that you don't miss any of my videos. So without any delay, let's get started. And today we are going to do JavaScript. And in JavaScript, this is the AJAX part 2. So let's get started. So today we are gonna do these 5 chapters. This examples chapter is just a revision of everything. Okay, so we are not gonna do this examples chapter, and we are gonna do this 5 chapters: XML file, PHP, ASP, database, and applications. So first, AJAX XML example. So AJAX can be used for interactive communication with an XML file. So AJAX can also be used for interactive communication with XML file. Before we learned how to interact with text responses, but now we will learn how to deal with XML responses. So XML example. So the following example will demonstrate how a web page can fetch information from an XML file with AJAX. So like we get CD information and all this comes. So let's see the code. So what is happening? We are taking the table th and td tags and we are styling them. Its border we are setting to 1 pixel solid black. So of the table th and td, and then its border collapse we are setting to collapse. Okay, and td we are separately styling and giving separately them a padding of 5 pixels. Okay, so this was the style sheet. But now let's see over here in body. In that body we are giving a h2, the XML HTTP request object. So here it has come over here. Okay, then we are creating a button, and whenever this would be clicked, we will call the load doc function. And then we are doing it's in HTML we are setting to get my CD collection. So here you can see the text in it is get my CD collection, and then we are closing the button. Then we are creating a table tag, its ID we are setting to demo, and then we are closing the table tag. Okay, so there is basically nothing in the table. If we give starting in table something, so it would have to print it. Okay, but we don't want anything in starting. Okay, so let's see load doc. So whenever this button would be clicked, load doc would be called, right? So let's see load doc. In load doc we have a variable xHTTP. In this we are creating a new XML HTTP request object. Okay, and then we are basically we could have given this above this so that it could make sense. Then we are opening the cd catalog.xml file. So I'll just show you which is the cd catalog.xml file. So here it is, and I'll just move up. Okay, so this is the cd catalog.xml file. So this is a XML file. In XML files we can create our own tags. So like here first we are creating a catalog tag. So this is not a predefined tag, we are creating our own tags in this. So there's a catalog tag, and then it is closing in the end. Okay, so this is a main tag. Then there is a cd tag, and then cd over here closes. Then there we are again opening a cd, then cd closes, then cd, then cd closes, so on. Okay, and in cd, in every cd there is a title, there's an artist tag, there is a country tag, there's a company tag, there's a price tag, and there is a year tag. Okay, so like in this cd there is the title tag's value is Empire Burlesque, artist tag's value is Bob Dylan, country's tag value is USA, company is Columbia, price is 10.90, and year is 1985. so on. There are the same tags with different values now. Okay, so we are opening the cd catalog.xml file using the get method on and then we are sending the request. Okay, so now we are sending the request to the server. Okay, the server hears for the request and it gets it. So whenever the ready state property changes, so you will if you have seen my previous AJAX video, you would know what is the ready state property, what is the on ready state change property and all. Okay, so whenever the ready state property changes, it goes in this function and then it checks that if ready state is 4 and status is 200. So like if this shows that if this is true, the statement is true, that means everything was successful. So we will call my function and we will pass it this. What is the value of this? This is referring to x http. So basically what we are doing, we are passing my function x http. We are calling my function and we are passing it x http. Okay, now let's see what we are giving in my function. My function will be called when everything is successful, server has to return a response xml. So in my function what we are doing, first of all what we are doing, here we have a parameter xml, so we are passing it this, that means we are passing it x http. So we are creating a variable I, then what we are doing, we are creating a variable xml doc, and then we are doing xml.response xml. This statement is equals to x http dot response xml because we passed x http to this function. Okay, so xml.response xml, so all the response of the xml file, the response of the xml file would come here. So if I alert the xml doc, then we would get to know that what is the response XML, what is the response XML's value. So okay, so it is showing an XML file, but if we wanted to show this file, then if I do HTML, just trying undefined, yeah, I knew it would give undefined because this is not a tag. If I wanted to see whatever I am getting in the XML file, then how can I see it? Okay, so XML dot response XML. Let's see. I'll just search on Google. How to check what value is coming in response XML property in JavaScript. So here we have MDN response XML. If we want to check the response XML, this is a useless link. Response XML. Our response text idea. I want to close this. If I check the response text, response text. So let's see what is coming in response text. Okay, so response text is basically the whole file. So response text is the whole file. Okay, And if I just do document.write document write XML doc, so it is showing object XML document. So this means that the document is coming in this. Okay, so now let's continue. So now we are creating a variable table. In that we are creating a tr tag. A tr tag is table row. Okay, and then there's a th tag. Th tag means table heading. Okay, in that we are giving artist, and then we are closing the th tag. Okay, so the table heading tag is being closed, and then we are creating another th tag. Okay, and th tag means table heading, so we are creating another heading. Its value is title, so like here this is a heading, so it comes in bold format and all. Okay, so like this is coming in one row, so we were not closing the tr over here only. If we would have closed tr over here, then this would have come in separate rows that we don't want. Okay, so trth. Okay, then we are creating a title table heading, and then we are closing the table row. So in this row this has come. Okay, now we are creating a variable x. Its value is xml doc.getElements by tag name cd. So okay, so there an html collection would come in this. Okay, because if I allow x, so it is showing an object html collection. Yeah, so an html collection has come in this, and all the cds that are there in the xml file have come in this. So this cd has come in this, and all the cds, this cd also, then this cd also, then this cd also, and all the cds. Okay, so all the cds have come in x as like xml collection. HTML collection is just like what we say, like an array. Okay, but it is very different. It is quite different from array. So if you have not seen my, what we say, HTML DOM videos, do check them out. You will get a lot to know about the HTML collection thingy. Okay, so all the CDs have come in X. Then we are creating a for loop for I equals to 0, I less than x dot length, I plus plus. So we are looping on the X, so we are looping on all the CDs one by one. Okay, and then in this loop we are doing what we are doing. We are creating a table, and we are adding a table row. So I'll just, yeah, so this is better. So we are adding a table row, and then td. Okay, so then we are adding a td tag. So I'll just search on Google td tags full form. Td tag full form. TD stands for table data. So this is table data. So tr and then table data we are setting to xi. So xi. So whatever I comes, so like first I is 0, then 1, then 2. So first we are accessing the 0th CD, then the first CD, then the second, then the third. So here the first time we are accessing the 0th CD, then we are in that CD we are accessing the tag artist one. Artist tag, we are accessing the artist tag in that CD using the get elements by tag name, and whatever comes, all the artists that comes, it's 0th one. So we want a 0th one, so there will be one artist at a time. So we are but it would come in a collection, HTML collection, so we are accessing it like 0. Okay, so artist would come in this. it's child node 0. So what is the child node of artist? What is the child node of artist? It is the text node. Okay, so then it's node value. Node value. So what would be the node value? It would be first Bob Dylan, then it would be Bonnie Tyler, then it would be Dolly Parton. Okay, because node value is like inner HTML. So let's see this step by step. XI. So first it would access the 0th CD, then the first CD, then the second CD, then the third CD, then the fourth CD, then the fifth, sixth, then seventh, like this. Okay. Then it would access the artist. So all the artists are there, and all the artists. So there are one artist. So it would come in an HTML collection. And as there is one artist, so we will access the 0th one. There is only one, so there is only a 0th artist, so we are accessing it. So this has come now. Okay, we are accessing its child node 0. So child node 0 is this text node, and this text node's node value is Bob Dylan. So Bob Dylan would be added. Then we are closing the table data. Then we are adding a new table data. In that we are doing the same thing, but instead of artist we are bringing title. Then we are closing the table data again, and then we are closing the whole row. So like this it is coming like artist, Bob Dylan, title, empire, bold, rescue, and all. Okay, so I hope you understood. So this example is now explained. When a user clicks on the get CD info button above, the load doc function is executed. So yeah, the load doc function is executed whenever the button is clicked. I'll just show it to you. So whenever this button is clicked, we are setting an on click event. So whenever this is clicked, load doc would be called. Okay. The load doc function creates an XML HTTP request object. So it is creating an XML HTTP request object in the starting. Okay. Then it adds the function to be executed when the server response is ready. So it adds the function to be executed when the server response is ready. Like this. Over here. Okay. And sends the request off to the server. And sends the request off to the server. So what happens? It adds the function to be executed when the server response is ready and sends the request off to the server. So when the server response is ready, an HTML table is built. Nodes or elements, you can say, are extracted from the XML file, and it finally updates the element demo with the HTML table filled with XML data. So when the server response is ready, so when the server has created its response, an HTML table is built in the my function. So in my function, the HTML table is built. The elements are extracted from the XML file. So the elements are extracted from the XML file that we want. Okay, and it finally updates the element demo with the HTML table filled with XML data. So I told everything to you step by step. So the XML file used in this example above looks like this. So we have just opened this, so it looks like this. Okay, so there are about 30 CDs in this. Okay, so if I do command F, and I just move this, and if I search for CDs, okay, so 2 CDs are coming. So it is showing 52, and 52's half is about 26. So there are 26 CDs in this, I think so. Let's count. So 1 CD, 2 CD, 3 CD, 4 CD, 5 CD, 6 CD, 7 CD, 8th CD, 9th CD, 10th CD, 11th CD, 12th CD, okay, 13th CD, 14th CD, 15th CD, 16th CD, 17th CD, 18th CD, 19th CD, 20th CD, 21st CD, 22nd CD, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Yeah. So there are 26 CDs in this. Okay, now we are moving on the next chapter, that is the AJAX PHP example. Okay, so AJAX is used to create more interactive applications. So AJAX is basically used to create more interactive applications. AJAX PHP example. The following example demonstrates how a web page can communicate with a web server, while a user types characters in an input field. So this example demonstrates how a web page can communicate with a web server while a user types characters in an input field. So like this. So like start typing a name in the input field below and the suggestions would come. So for example, I write G, so a suggestion Gunda has come. Okay, but if I write something blah, then there is no suggestion because we can't find anything. If I write Y, there is no suggestion. If I write Z, no suggestion. D, there are two suggestions. If I write O, Taurus, one suggestion, and RIS, and now no more suggestion. Okay, so it works like this. So like if I write something blah, no suggestion for it. Okay, F, Fiona suggestion and all. Okay, so now we will see how this example works. So in the example above, when a user types a character in the input field. So when the user types a character in the input field, for example F, okay, a function called showHint is executed. So whenever we write a character, a function called showHint is executed. So how are we checking that we are writing a character? This is like this. The function is triggered when and by the onKeyUp event. So the onKeyUp event is checking. So like when we key down and then we key up, that means we press a key. In the input field it goes and the onKeyUp event calls the showHint function. Here is the HTML code. So here is the HTML code. So in this we are creating, first of all we are creating a p tag. So let's press this. Okay, so first of all what we are doing, we are creating a h2 tag, the XML HTTP request object. So here it has come. Okay, then we are creating a h3 tag, start typing a name in the input field below. So like this it is coming. Okay, then a p tag is being created, suggestions, and then we are creating a span. Its ID is text hint and there is nothing. Okay, so you must be wondering, why are we giving a span? Can't we give a div? Can't we give anything else? Yes, surely you can give anything else, but what span does is, the span speciality is that it brings it in the same line. For instance, if you give div over here and then you give div over here, what will happen? The suggestion would come in the next line. So if I give F something, the suggestion would come in the next line. That is not good. Okay, so for the suggestion to come in the same line, we have given span. Then we are creating a p tag, its value is first name, and then we are creating an input tag in this, its type its type is text, so its type is text. Its ID is txt1. Its ID is txt1, and whenever there is a on key up event, the show hint function would be called, and we would parse whatever value there is in the input field to it. Okay, so now let's see the show hint function. In this we are requesting for a string, okay, and we would pass this whatever value we get in the input field. Okay, so then we are creating a variable xHTTP in this. Okay, but we are not setting it right now. We are checking that if its length is 0, so if the string's length is 0, it would access the text hint. So it would access the text hint thingy over here, and its inner HTML it would set to 0, sorry, empty string, and then it would return nothing, and it would come out of the function. For instance, if you don't give this, then see what would happen. You see, if I run this now, if I give something, no suggestion has come. But then if I delete everything, then also no suggestion is coming. And that does not give a good impression on the users. So that's why we have given an if statement to check that if the length is 0, then its inner HTML would be empty and it would come out of the function by returning nothing. Okay, so now we are creating creating a xHTTP, and we are setting to XML HTTP request object. So we are creating a new XML HTTP request object. Okay, then what we are doing, we are opening the getHint.php file. Okay, and then we are giving a question mark, and then we are passing it a query, and then we are giving it a string. So we are giving the string to the PHP file, and we are giving asynchronous true, and we are using the get method. Okay, so we will come to the PHP file, but first of all we are giving the string to the PHP, so the PHP is making the result. So the PHP is bringing suggestions and JavaScript is showing those suggestions. Okay, so like then it is sending it to the server. So what would happen on the server? So think that you are on the server, and what is happening? The server listens for the request. It gets the request, it processes the request, it goes to the PHP file. In the PHP file, it is returning. It gets the suggestions. It creates a response. Then the server creates a response and sends the suggestions back to the browser. Okay, so we are checking that whenever the ready state is changed, then we are checking in that if ready state is 4, that means if the response is ready, and status is 200, that means everything is successful. Then what we would do, we would do document.get element by id text hint dot inner html. So this suggestions thing we would access, and we would give it the response text. So I told you the response text is the suggestions that are coming from the server. Okay, and the response text would be given as there will be suggestions. So now the code explanation. First, check if the input field is empty. If it is, clear the content of text in placeholder and exit the function. Okay. However, if the input field is not empty, do the following. Create an XML HTTP request object. First, create an XML HTTP request object. Create the function to be executed when the server response is ready. So, create the function to be executed when the server response is ready. Send the request off to the PHP to a PHP file getHint.php on the server. Notice that q parameter is added, getHint.php q equals to string. So we are passing some data to it, to the PHP file. We are giving some data to the PHP file. The string variable holds the content of the input field. So we are giving data to the PHP file. So now let's see what is the PHP file that is creating the response for us. So the PHP file checks an array of names. So it checks an array of names, okay, and returns the corresponding names to the browser. So this file checks an array of names and returns the corresponding names or name to the browser. So to write a PHP file, first you have to give a question mark. First you have to give this, uh, this, yeah, this. Okay, whatever. So first you have to give this. You have to give this, okay, then you have to give a question mark, then you have to write PHP, okay, and then if you want to end the PHP file, give a question mark and then end it with this, with this, okay. So now let's see. Here in PHP you create an array like this. So you give the array name. Its array name is A, and then you have to give brackets, and in front you have to give a dollar. Okay, its value is Anna. So Anna, and it is not changing anything. It is not overriding the array. It is adding elements in the array. So like in JavaScript we have a push method. Over here we have to add in PHP like this. Okay, so we are adding about 30 names in the array. Then we are creating a query. So if dollar query, and then we are creating a request. Okay, so this is how you can create a request in PHP. Then we are creating a dollar hint, and its value is empty string. It checks that if q is not equal to empty string. So like in q there is the value of whatever we give this, so like whatever the query that we give, okay. So like if the q is not empty string, then only we would do that. We are creating a so we are changing the value of dollar $q to string to lower dollar $q. So we are doing string to lowercase dollar $q. Then we are creating a dollar length, and then we are accessing the length of dollar $q. So whatever the length is. So then we do for each dollar $a as dollar name. So for each dollar $a as dollar name, okay. So like first in dollar name, it will come Anna, then Brittany, then Cinderella, then Diana, and all. Okay, it would do if str. Okay, so it would basically what it does, it compares str compares two strings. So we are comparing dollar $q with substring dollar name comma 0 comma dollar length. Okay, so we are accessing the starting part, okay, and we are using the str function. We are comparing it. Str would give true if they both match. If they don't match, it would give false. Okay, so if dollar hint is equals to empty, so if hint is empty, then it would set hint to dollar name. Else if it is not empty, there is something in it, it would add a comma and then the name. Okay, and then it would echo dollar hint equals to empty string. So it would check if dollar hint is empty string, then it would give no suggestion, else it would return dollar hint. So this was our PHP file. In the ASP we will do the same thing but with an ASP file. So let's read this. AJAX is used to create more interactive applications. The following example will demonstrate how a web page can communicate with a web server while a user types a character. So we have seen this. Okay. So we have read all this. We have seen what the code is. It is the ditto same code, but there is just one small difference. That is this thing. This we are just changing it to ASP instead of PHP, and everything is same. Okay, instead of like this person has changed the order of everything, it has given the body, it has given the body, it has given the script in the head and the body afterwards. Okay, and now we don't need the code explanation because like we have just seen the code explanation, but let's see it once again just to recap. So first check if the input field is empty, string.length equals to 0. So it would check that if it is empty, then it would clear the content of txt hint placeholder and it would exit the function. However, if the input field is not empty, do the following. It would create an XML HTTP request object, then create the function to be executed when the server response is ready. Okay, then send the request off to an ASP file. Okay, on the server. Notice that the queue parameter is added. Get hint.asp question mark queue. So it is a query. Okay, so we are giving data to the ASP file, and the str variable holds the content of the input field. So the ASP file, get hint.asp. The ASP file checks an array of names and returns the corresponding name or names to the browser. So this would do the same thing, but it is ASP format. So like ASP is more like English like, okay. PHP is more coding like, but PHP syntax is quite easier. Okay. So this is how you can open an ASP file, and this is how you can close it. Okay, then there is something response dot expires equals to -1, so so this should be there. Then you are creating an array using the dim thingy, and you have to specify the array's length in starting. So array's length is 30. So then you have to add all these 30 names in it. So this is how you can add a, and then you give parentheses, and then you specify which index of that. Okay, and then its value is Anna, then Brittany, then you are adding Cinderella, then blah blah blah. 30 things you are 30 names you are adding. Okay, so then okay, so here then what we are doing, we are creating a queue variable. Okay, and it is doing a u case. U case is short form for uppercase. So uppercase and whatever the query string we receive. Okay, then it would check the length of queue is greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, then then it would go in the loop. If statement, it would set hint equals to empty string. Then it would do for I equals to 1 to 30. So it would first i's value is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and blah blah blah. Okay, so if q equals to u case, so if q equals to u case, and then it is mid a I comma 1 comma length q. So this mid method is also checked. Um, so basically, so yeah, so if q is equals to the uppercase mid ai, so comma 1 comma length q. So if the query there is a name that has the query's value in it in the starting, then it would go inside this, and it would check if hint equals to empty string, then hint is equals to ai. So hint value would set to ai, else hint equals to hint and comma and then ai. Okay, then it would end this if, then it would end this if, then it would do next, and then it would do end if. Okay, so so like if hint is equals to empty string, then response.write no suggestion, so it would give response as no suggestion, else it would response.write hint, and then it would end this if, and then it would end the file. So you see, ASP syntax is quite difficult but quite English-like syntax. But PHP syntax is not quite difficult but it is not English-like. So both are good in either ways, and according to your preference you can choose which language you want. Okay, but these days server-side scripting language, the best server-side scripting language these days, people use Python. Okay, Python as server-side scripting language. Okay, so now we are on the AJAX database chapter, and we are just gonna take a short break after all this hard work. Okay, today I forgot to take a break. I was so deep into this. Okay, good, feeling good. Uh, Sorry, I'm going off the camera. Mm, we just have to do AJAX database example, and then we just have to do applications. And as I told you, like examples is just a revision of everything, and we don't need to do that. So it would just recap all the examples in that chapter, and we don't need to do that, so we will just ignore that chapter. Okay, and then we would we have completed AJAX. So basically we would complete AJAX and we would move on to JSON, and that would be quite cool because JSON is very like good. Huh. So JSON is very widely used, and we would move on to JSON. Then we would just have to do web APIs and then JS versus jQuery, and then we have completed JavaScript. So basically we would complete JavaScript. And then we would move to some other language. Let's see. Let's complete JavaScript first. Okay, so the AJAX database example. AJAX can be used for interactive communication with a database. So AJAX can be used for interactive communication with a database. We have seen how to interact with a server. We have seen how to manage an response XML. We have seen how to use PHP and ASP files on the server. Now let's see how to use a database. So AJAX can be used for interactive communication with a database. AJAX database example. So the following example will demonstrate how a web page can fetch information from a database with AJAX. So like here we select the customer Alfred first the key, I can't read this, Futterkiste. So everything about Alfred's Futterkiste would come. Quite a funny name. If you select north south, so everything about north south would come. And if you select Volsky Zajazad, then everything about Volsky Zajazd would come. Okay, so this all information is coming from a database. Okay, what is the database? Database is used to store information. It could be any type of information. It could be user information. It could be a profile. It could be like what we say like an article, some text, anything. So you could save anything. Okay, let's try it. So here we are styling table THTD 1 pixel solid black, border collapse, and then THTD padding is 5 pixel. Okay, this was the style. Then we are giving H2 okay, and then the XML HTTP request object, so this is being printed. Then we are creating a form. So we are creating a form, and in this what we are doing, we are creating a select tag. Its name is customers, so the name is customers. Select tags creates like a drop down, okay, and whenever this would be changed, show customer would be called, and whatever its value would be, we would pass it that. The options of this are, one is select a customer option. This next option is alf key is the value of that option, and it's the next option is Alfred's Futter Kiste. Okay, the option 3 is value is knots, and its value is like what we are printing is north slash south, and then we are closing the option, and the final option is Volsky Zajaz, its value is Volsa, and we are closing the option, we are closing the select tag, and then we are closing the form tag. We are giving in a new line, div id texturing, the customer info will be listed here. Okay, so let's see the show customer. Show customer would be called whenever we select a different customer. So show customer str. So it is asking for a string. So we are creating a variable xHTTP. If string is equals to empty string, when it would be empty string? It would be empty string when its value, when we would select a customer. Okay, because whenever we select this, its value is empty string. Okay, so what we do, if it is empty string, we would access text hint, and its inner HTML we would set to empty string, and then come out from the function. A good way to come out from a function is just write return and just give a semicolon and the statement, so it would come out from the function. Okay, else if it is something good, if it is not empty string, then it would create a new XML HTTP request object. Okay, then basically what it would do, let's put this above, it would open the file getCustomer.php. okay, and we are giving it the data, whatever the string we get, and we would open it using the get method, and it would be asynchronous. Okay, and then we would send the request. Whenever the ready state is changed, we will check that if it is 4, that means if the response is created and the request is finished, and this dot status is 200, that means if everything was successful, then it would access texting, and it's in HTML it would set to response text, so whatever the response text would come. Okay, and yeah, so we would see the server file, the PHP file right now, but let's see the example explain function, the show customer function. So when a user selects a customer in the drop down list above, a function called show customer is executed. The function is triggered by the onChange event. So it is triggered by the onChange event. So whenever the drop down is changed. So the show customer function does the following. It checks if a customer is selected. It creates an XML HTTP request object. It creates the function to be executed when the server response is ready. It sends the request off to a file on the server, and notice that a parameter q is added to the URL with the content of the drop down list. Okay, so now let's see the server page. So the AJAX server page. The page on the server called by the JavaScript above is a file called getCustomer.php. The source code in getCustomer.php runs a query against a database and returns the result as in an HTML table. So here we are opening a PHP file. We are creating a MySQLi variable, the $sign, and in that we are creating a new MySQLi object. it's for we have to give server name, then we have to give username, then the password, then the database name. So this is connecting it with the database. Okay, then it checks if there's a connect error. Okay, if there was a connect error with the database, it would exit and say could not connect. If there is no connect error, it would come down over here. It would create a dollar SQL, and here it would do select customer ID. Okay, so it would select the customer ID in the database, company name in the database, contact name, address, city, postal code, and country from the customers table. So there are tables in database, so it would select it from the customers table where customer ID is question mark. Okay, we will fill this in this question mark. So we are creating a dollar statement. In that, what we are doing, we are accessing the MySQLi variable, and we would prepare the SQL. So we will prepare this SQL. We will prepare this query. Then we are doing dollar statement, and we would do bind parameter s and dollar get q. So what this is doing, it is adding this query whatever we get in the question marks place. Okay, then it would do statement and it would execute. Then it would do statement store result, so it would store the result. Then it would do statement bind result dollar cid c name. So cid is customer id, c name is company name, name is contact name, dollar adr is address, dollar city is city, and p code is postal code, and dollar c is dollar country is country. Then it would statement dot fetch, so it would fetch. Okay, and then it would close the statement. Okay, and all these echoes are the response text. So let's see, it would echo table, so it would create a new table. It would echo tr, so it would create a table row. It would echo th, so it would create a heading. Okay, customer id. Then it would echo td, so it's data. Its data would be dot dollar cid dot. Okay, so the what do we say, the customer id. Okay, then it is echoing th company name, and then it would close th. So table heading, then it would create td, table data dollar c name, and it would close table data. Then it would create contact name th. It would then do td dollar name, and then it would do address. Then it would fill in the data. Then it would do city, then fill in the data of city. Then it would do postal code, and it would fill in the data of postal code, and then country, and it would fill in the data of country. So this was database. So this is very easy. Okay, so this is how to connect with a database and do stuff with the database. Sadly we can't edit this file, or we could have fiddled with this a lot. Okay, and now we are moving on to the final chapter of this video. Okay, so applications, and I'm just taking a short break. Ah, this is cool. Cool. The next video would be JSON, guys. Just stay ready for JSON, because JSON is gonna be a very important concept and a very fun concept. You would learn lots of stuff in JSON, and you would have a lot of fun when you will do JSON. So stay tuned, see all my videos, and maybe next, I don't know. I would, after we have completed JavaScript, we would move to some other language, and soon after all the courses that I will teach you, we together could be able to make social networking sites if we learn database and all. Okay, so let's continue in 5 seconds. Okay, let's continue now. XML applications. So this chapter demonstrates some HTML applications using XML, HTTP, DOM and JavaScript. So now we would see what is the XML document used. In this chapter we will use the XML file called cdcatalog.xml. So this is cdcatalog.xml. Okay, that I showed you before also. So this file would be used in all our examples. So display XML data in an HTML table. So if you want to display XML data in an HTML table, how could you? The example loops through each CD element and displays the value of the artist and the title elements in the HTML table. So we have already done this example if you remember, because like we showed the artist and the title if you remember, and I explained it properly in this XML file chapter. Okay, but let's have a quick recap, a very quick recap that we would do. So basically here we are styling. Okay, styling is standard. We are creating a button and whenever it would be clicked, load XML doc would be called. Okay, then we are creating a table, demo. Its ID is demo. Okay, its function, we are doing function load XML doc. In that we are creating a new XML HTTP request object. Okay, then we are opening the cdcatalog.xml file. We are sending the request to the server. Whenever the ready state changes, we will call this function. If the ready state would be 4 and the status is 200, that means if there's success, it would call my function and it would pass it XML HTTP request object. Okay, so in this we have a variable I, and then we have a XML doc, and in that XML dot response XML would be there. XML is this passed XML HTTP request object. Okay, so the response XML would be there. Then we are creating a table row. In that we are creating two headings. One is artist and the other is title, and then we are closing the table row. Then what we are doing, we are creating a for loop. It's I is equal to 0, I less than x dot length I plus plus. Oh, sorry. X is equals to, so then we are setting x to XML doc, and it would access all the CD elements. So an HTML collection would come. Okay, so like in for loop we are looping through that HTML collection. So we are looping through all the CDs. So first i's value is 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, so on. And then we do table plus equals to, so we are create, so we added table, this table variable. So we are doing table plus equals to trtd. So tr is table row and td is table data. Table data we are doing xi. So first cd would become, then second cd comes, then third cd comes, and then we are accessing the artist in it and the zeroth artist. So there is only one artist, so the zeroth artist. Its child node is text node, so the text node and its node value. So text node value first of artist would be Bob Dylan, then Bonnie Tyler, then Dolly Parton, and blah. Same thing we are doing with the title, and then we are showing the table in the demo. Okay, quite cool. So for more information about using JavaScript and XML DOM, go to DOM intro. So we don't need to. So now we are on display the first CD in an HTML div element. So if you want to display the first CD in the HTML div element, how could you do it? This example uses a function to display the first CD element in the HTML element with ID show CD. So here we have an example. Okay, in this what we are doing, here we are, I'll just open this example. What we are doing, we are creating a shoot CD div. Okay, and okay, and we are closing the div. Then we have a display cd function. Okay, and it is asking for a value. Okay, so so in that we are creating a new XML HTTP request object. Okay, and then it would check if it would open the file first, cdcatalog.xml it would open. Okay, then it would send the request. Okay, it whenever the ready state property would change, this function would be called. When ready state is 4 and status is 200, that means success, it would call my function, and it would pass it the XML HTTP request object and the I variable, so whatever we have. And in my function we have XML I. So in this, what we are doing, we are creating an XML doc, and in that we are having the response XML. Then x equals to XML doc dot get elements by tag name cd. So we are bringing cd tags in this. Okay, then what we are doing, we are doing document dot get element by id. So show cd equals to artist. So if we would give artist, then we would do xi. So whatever is being passed, xi dot get elements by tag name artist. Okay, 0 child node and dot child node 0 dot node value. So the text node has come, Bob Thailand. Okay, so then then we are giving a br, then we are adding title to it, then we are doing xi. So I is 0, as we are, when we are calling this display cd, 0 is being passed. Okay, so same thing is happening with title, and the same thing is happening with year. So for example, if I changed over here, so if I did 1 over here, then the other one would be shown, other cd would be shown. If I give 3 over here, then the other cd would be shown. Oh, these stupid ads, I clicked that stupid ad by mistake, so the data changes. Okay, but if you want, for example, if you want an arrow button, that would change the data automatically. So if you want to navigate between CDs, how could you do it? It is quite very easy. So to navigate between CDs, the example above, create a next and previous function. So in the next function, you would check if I is less than length minus 1. So like if I value is less than the length minus 1, okay, then only it would be able to go to the next CD. Okay, so then only it would be able to go to the next CD. So where is our next function? Yeah, so if I is less than length minus 1, it would go, then it would do I plus plus, and then it would display cd I is first 0, by default it is 0. If we do next, it would be like 1, and then we call display cd 1, so the data would be changed. Okay, as we are giving I over here, so whatever we pass would come. Okay, and similarly we would do previous. So if I would be greater than 0, we would do I minus minus, so we would subtract I, and then we would display cd I. Okay, so like here, if we are pressing this, so the data is changing, and with back also it is changing. Okay, okay, and now we have this example and that. So the show album information when clicking on a CD. The last example shows how you can show album information so the last example shows how you can show album information when the user clicks on the CD. So like this. So what is happening in this? We are doing default styling. Then we are doing P. We are adding a P tag, and in that we are doing click on a CD to display album information. Then we are creating a P. Its ID is show CD, and we are closing a P. Okay. Then we are creating a table ID demo. Okay. So now let's see this code. We are creating a variable x, xml http and xml doc. Then we are creating a xml http request object, and we are creating okay, Then we are opening the cd catalog.xml file, and we are setting it is not asynchronous, it is synchronous. So now we would not need the onReady state change property. Then we are sending the request. Then we are creating so we are setting x. Then we are setting XML doc to XML HTTP dot response XML. So whatever the response XML has come from the server, that okay. And then what we would do, we would do x equals to XML doc dot get elements by tag name cd. So x is XML doc dot get elements by tag name cd. So it is accessing the cd by using the get elements by tag name. So all the cds have come in this, okay, in x. Then we are creating a table variable. It's equals to a table row, then table heading artist. We are closing the table heading, then another table heading title, and then we are closing the table heading. Then we are creating a for loop for I equals to 0, I less than x dot length I plus plus, table plus equals to tr. So a table row is created, and whenever that table row would be clicked, so we are giving it an on click event. So whenever it would be clicked, we would call display cd, okay, and okay, and we would pass it I, okay. So I is basically is 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, okay. So we will pass it I. Then we would create a table data tag, okay. Then we would add do table plus equals to x I, okay. So whatever I value is, we would do x I, and dot get elements by tag name artist 0. So it would access the artist. Then its child node is text node, so it would access the text node and its node value. Then it would close the table data and then create a new table data. Same thing we will do with the title tag. Then we would do document.get element by id demo.html equals to table. Now let's see the display cd. So in this display cd, what we would do, in this we would show cd. It's in a HTML, we would set to artist, and then xi. So whatever I is, dot get elements by tag name artist, okay. 0 dot child node 0 dot node value, okay. Then we are doing the same thing with title. We are adding a br, then we are doing it with title, then we are adding a br, then we are doing it with year. So what is the final output? When we click Bob Dylan, or when we click the title also, then also the contents change, okay. But if you click on this middle line, nothing would change, okay. After clicking this only, it will change. So we have just completed this, and we don't need to do examples because it is just a revision of everything, all the examples, so we don't need to do it, okay. So thank you guys. If you like the video, don't forget to smash the like button and share this video with as many people as you can. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, kindly do it so that you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you guys. Bye. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching my videos. Dab!